Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hani Nur Elisa binti Anwar, and now I will start with introduction. In this report, we studied about the student interest in sports. Why we choose this topic? It is because, as we know, most of the students love to do sports. So, it is easier for us to obtain the result. So, the objective of this report is to study the interest in sports among UiTM students, to determine what kind of sports students love the most, to determine the time that students do sport, to study the amount of time spent on sports in a day, to study the reason UiTM students do sports, to observe students' satisfaction towards UiTM sports facilities.
Sampling technique. Our group has decided to use convenient sampling method. We apply this method to get respondents from students on all UiTM campuses. The main reason why we choose to use convenient sampling method is because it is easy to us to obtain key respondents, and also we don't need a face-to-face conversation since we are providing a link to our online platform to answer our questionnaire. To add more, convenient sampling method don't use a lot of money to do a survey.
Okay, so next, I'll move to data collection method. So, in our project, we apply internet survey method using Google Form because it is easier for us and it is more flexible. So, we spread it through WhatsApp and Instagram to all semester students who are from UiTM only.
Data analysis and results. Qualitative data. Number one is gender. For this data, there are only two choices, which is male or female. Frequency table of gender shows that the majority of respondents is female, which is 29 out of 40 people, and the percentage is 72.5%, rather than male that has only 11 out of 40 people, here a percentage of 27.5%. Most of the gender is female. Number two is semester. For this data, there are 5 choices for the respondent. As the respondent is a university student, we decided to input the choice of which semester the student is from. The choices are semester 1 until semester 5. The frequency table of semesters show that the total of respondents are 40 people, and most of them are from semester 2, which is 27 out of 40 people, and has a percentage 67.5%, rather than semester 1, that has only 3 out of 40 people, and the percentage is 7.5%. Other than that, there are only 3 out of 40 people in semester 3 with a percentage 7.5%. For semester 4, there are only 5 out of 40 people with a percentage of 12.5%. And for the semester 5, only has 2 out of 40 people with a percentage of 5%. Mode for semester is semester 2.
For qualitative data, on type of sport, we provide pie chart here. You could see that, there are five choice for the kind of sport the student love the most. The area that has the most coverage, which is in orange color, represent the majority choice of the student, that is badminton, and it has the percentage of 37.5%. The second largest area in red represents netball, and it has the percentage of 22.5%. Football is a sport that occupies the third biggest area, which is in green color and has the percentage of 17.5%. Following this, 12.5% of the area coverage is in yellow color, that represents futsal. And lastly, the blue area cover for volleyball has a percentage of 10%. You can also see that the frequency table here shows the number of students that choose the sport. Like for volleyball, there are 4 students, netball, there are 9 students, futsal, there are 5 students, football, there are 7 students, and lastly, badminton, there are 15 students. For qualitative data for time, you could see here the bar chart has been given. And the bar chart shows the data collected on the question for what time does the respondent do the sport. There were 3 choices given, which were evening, night, and morning. You could see here the tallest bar, which represents the most choice of the respondent, is evening, followed by night, and lastly morning. And here you can also see that the frequency table, the number of students that choose the morning is 4 people, evening is 24 people, and at night is 12 people. Their percentage is 10% for morning, 60% for evening, and night is 30%. For qualitative data on reasons, there are pie chart here that shows the data result on the question on the reason for the respondent to do their choice. There were 4 choices given, each has their own color. The biggest area is 32.5% covered in yellow color, which means the reason to fulfill my free time is the preferred reason for the respondent. Next is the green area, which has the 30% that represent to release stress is the second highest reason. Additionally, sport is my hobby is a reason that occupies 27.5, which is in the red area. Lastly, the smallest area that has blue coverage, which represents to have more friends, has 10% in percentage. Here you could see the frequency table of why they do sport. And there are, you could take the information of there are 4 people that choose the reason to have more friends. 11 people choose the reason sport is my hobby. 13 people choose the reason to fulfill my free time, and 12 people choose the reason to release stress. For qualitative data on satisfaction level, you could see the bar chart that shows the data result on the satisfaction level. The respondent could rate their satisfaction level from 1 to 5, which is mean as in 5 is very satisfied and 1 is very dissatisfied. Most of the respondents choose level 4, followed by level 3, then level 5 to level 2, and lastly level 1. The frequency table here elaborate that the number of students that choose level 1 is only 1, for level 2 is 2, and for level 3 is 14 people, for level 4 is 16 people, for level 5 is 7 people. The percentage for level 1 is 2.5%, for level 2 is 5%, for level 3 is 35%, for level 4 is 40%, and lastly for level 5 is 17.5%.
Now, we move to the next data analysis, which is quantitative data. For this data, there is only one quantitative data, which is time span. The first one that we can see here is frequency distribution. There are 3 levels in time, in minutes, that has been shown in the table. Next is histogram. These are the histogram graph that has been shown for amount of the time spent by students on sports in a day. Next is measures of central tendency. There are 3 sample data that has been done based on the calculation and the total in the table here. The first one is mean. Mean is equal to sum of fx divided by sum of f. You will get 2010 divided by 40, and the answer will be 50.25 minutes. So the interpretation is, on the average, the time spent by students in sports is 50.25 minutes. Next is median. Median is Q2 equals to 40 divided by 2. You will get 20. Median class equal to 30 to 60. So when you put the formula, 30 plus in bracket 20 minus 6 divided by 21 close bracket times with 30, you will get 50 minutes. So the interpretation is 50% of the students spend their time in sports less than 50 minutes, while 50% of them spend their time in sports more than 50 minutes. The last one is mode. Mode class equals to 30 to 60 minutes. So when you put in the formula, it will be 30 plus in bracket 15 over 15 plus 8 close brackets times with 30. So you will get the answer is 49.57 minutes. The interpretation will be the majority of the students spend their time in sports is 49.57 minutes. Next, we move to measures of dispersion. The first one is variance. When you put the calculation into the formula, it will be 1 over 40 minus 1 in bracket 117,000 minus in bracket 4,040,100 divided by 40 close bracket. You will get 410.19 minutes. The second one is standard deviation. So when you put the calculation into the formula, it will be square root 1 over 40 minus 1 in bracket 117,000 minus open bracket 4,040,100 over 40 close bracket. You will get square root 410.19. You will get the answer is 20.25 minutes. So the interpretation will be, on the average, the number of students spend their times in sports deviates from the mean as much as 20.25 minutes. Now we will continue with coefficient of variation. So the formula for coefficient of variation is equal to standard deviation divided by mean times with 100. So when you put the calculation into the formula, it will be 20.25 divided by 50.25 times 100. So the answer will be 40.30 minutes. Next is Pearson's coefficients of skewness. So the formula will be 3 in bracket mean minus median close bracket divided by standard deviation. So when you put the calculation into the formula, it will be 3 in bracket 50.25 minus 50 close bracket divided by 20.25. You will get 0.037 minutes. So the last but not least, the shape of distribution, it will be positively skewed distribution. Last but not least, I will end this video assignment with a conclusion. To conclude, at the end of this group project, we can know most of the students' favorite sport is badminton. Besides, we also can analyze most of the students like to do sports in the evening. Moreover, most of the students spend their time in sports for 30 until 60 minutes in a day. We also know that they do sports to fulfill their free time. Last but not least, we all know that most of the students rate 4 out of 5 about the facilities in UiTM. We know that our topic make it easier for us to complete this project as many students do sports. Thank you.